Ogee Money, the Push on Taste Radio. My next guest was born and raised in New York City. He's dropped a lot of music, but right now we're celebrating his debut project, Grimey Wealth. None other than Infamous Billa.
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How you feeling?
Doing well.
Yeah, so Infamous Billa, like dollar bill.
Most definitely. My brother gave me that name.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long ago?
I was like 12 or 13 when my brother gave me that name. I was rapping before that too. My name was Casual T.
Oh,
then my brother said, how about Billa? You know, because I used to always save money, so I'd always have bills. So he got the name Billa.
Billa, see? You got the name early. I've been telling folks, man, you get your name a lot of times, whether it's rap, street, whatever it is, those names, you get that early on in your life. So you were raised on the Upper East Side, but spent a lot of time home. Is that correct?
Most definitely.
Okay, so
I consider both places my home, you know. I've been in between both worlds my entire life. So, yeah, my first show was at the Apollo Theater when I was young.
All right. Yeah, that's a big first show right there.
Yeah, once you could do that, you could do anything.
All right. And you come from a family of musicians.
Yeah, my grandma, she actually, she made her money playing piano throughout the Great Depression. She had nothing, and she made money going from place to place playing piano by ear. My pops also knows how to play the piano, and my sister was in the Met growing up. She was in the Met Children's Choir.
Yo, your pops, man. I heard your pops just had those crazy jingles and they go, you know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
So growing up, what genres of music were you exposed to before hip hop?
Before hip hop, I was listening to, my parents listened to a lot of the Beatles. My mom listened to a lot of Motown. And on top of that, I just decided to explore music myself. And I ended up falling in love with a lot of like McFadden and Whitehead, a lot of underground stuff. I love jazz too. And what it did for hip hop, like Miles Davis and stuff like OG Harlem Jazz, you know, because I could relate so much of the sound to what it did for hip hop. Because like, if you got a great man said this, if you look at a flower, you got to study the seed of the flower, you know? So.
I respect that about your craft, your story, and we have something in common. Ready to Die was a life-changing album for both of us.
Fact.
Now, do you remember when you first heard it?
Ready to Die was sick, actually, and my mom bought it for me by accident. And I just remember hearing it, and I didn't know you could say certain stuff in music, so I was just shocked as a kid. That's back when you had the Walkmans before the iPod, so I put the CD in back when you went to Best Buy and bought CDs and shit.
Yeah. So how did that album impact your life?
Ready to Die impacted my life in many ways. Like, I realized the importance of expression and being genuine, because I loved the way music sounded before. But a lot of the music I listened to and that my parents listened to prior to hip hop didn't have the same genuine message that related and resonated to people of my generation. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up I went to a boys' school growing up, and kids were cursing, kids were into certain stuff, and there was definitely a disconnect between the older and the younger generation. So when I heard Ready to Die, it's like I heard New York, you know? I heard when I was walking down the street, I heard what was going on, the storytelling, you know, it gave me a whole picture. So. Yeah,
and so would you say that you always stood out in school with like just your love from hip hop? I know you speak about it in your music, how you came from a different world and what some would consider privilege, but you never felt like you fit in.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember actually the day Pimp C died, I went to an all very preppy school, and I was mad down the day Pimp C died, and I was telling everyone Pimp C died, and they didn't know, you know, that they didn't know really what I was talking about or what I was getting at. And it's crazy because I went to school on 98th Street, which is right on the border on the east side between Harlem and the Upper East Side. So I grew up between both worlds. And I don't even really notice a difference, like that big of a difference between them, because we're all human, you know, we all like to participate in our craft, and we all have emotions, you know. It's just, it's kind of like man-made blocks, you know.
Mm-hmm. You discuss this in the music, just the simple fact that money doesn't make you happy. It can bring happiness in other ways, but just the whole concept, even with the album, of Grimey Wealth, and we'll touch on that. But going back to Ready to Die, so what was your favorite song of that?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I'm not going to give a basic answer on that. I like the Respect track.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like the reggae sample in that, how he incorporated that, because Big was Jamaican too, so that brought in a whole other element. And he's telling his whole story, coming up. And I also like Things Done Changed. I got to do that.
Machine Gun Funk was it for me.
Facts.
Yeah, Easy Mo B, man. Easy Mo B. So when did you decide to take music seriously, or, rap and hip hop as a profession?
Honestly, I always wanted to rap. Ever since I heard rap music for the first time in my life, I always felt like it was, how do I say it? It was something that allowed me to think and connect in a way that I related to creatively. So it was my gateway into wanting to do music myself. And ever since then, I was studying it, because I realized that even prior to hip hop, I got to study the tracks they were made from, like Roger and Zapp, like Keep Your Head Up and the 5 Stair Steps and artists like that, in order to really understand what I was listening to, where it came from. Because in order to be a great, I believe you got to learn everything you can about something.
Right, and you dropped knowledge in your music. You pretty much gave an answer for another question I had, and I was going to ask you, who did you study? What other artists did you study? Because I hear some KRS-One in the music. I hear a lot of different things in the music, depending on the mood and the track. Because there are songs from you, like Horny and shit like that.
Yeah, but listen, I love that the Horny song you mentioned is a drill record.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I love what the drill sound has done to bring back New York in its organic form. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I found my niche in making New York music, because that's where I come from. And that's what brought me up. Artists like Rakim, KRS-One, Nas, Raekwon, Wu-Tang, that formulated my thought process,
Yeah, it's very New York, the album. But even on songs like Horny and Don't Trust You and Going with the Drought, I like them. We Pussy and Wine too. That's what. Go check that out. We Pussy and Wine. 3 things right there get you a lot of trouble. You released a lot of music prior to dropping your first album, Grimey Wealth. There's a lot of Lucy's, but you were flooding SoundCloud. What was the process behind that? Were you just trying to find your sound, or just like, let me raise awareness that way?
I was just trying to create at that point, and I was just trying to give people content at that point. And in the process, I was finding my sound, because as artists, we always think we're at the most developed point, in our thinking. And I was experimenting with different beats, going with different stuff that I knew how to do. But now I really feel like I've found my sound and developed it. That was just in order to give people content. And I learned, you learn a lot about music. You learn how to put records out. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Things just ain't the same for white guys. But I'm a little too rich to care about
white lives.
You say a lot of clever wordplay that only a white guy can get away with. Do you ever worry about backlash from your own people? Just like hating on you?
I've gotten the most backlash from my people that someone could get, And it's not even my people, because race has nothing to do with it or anything. It's just people who view stuff a certain way, because we're all human and we get imprinted with certain stuff throughout our lifetime. We start off as blank slates, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. We were talking about it, early before you came here, and I'm like, yo, Billa, he drops a lot, and depending on the track you get, you never know, but if you dig in, he's going to say something, and be sure to let his thoughts and his feelings about whatever it is, especially when it comes to wealth and disparity. With that, you launched the free education campaign, right?
Facts.
Before the pandemic, I believe it was before the pandemic.
Most definitely.
Can you share the details of that with us?
Yeah, so the whole idea between free education, behind free education was the fact that people buy buildings, you know what I'm saying, to get opportunities to go into college. And the whole college system is rigged, in my opinion, because a lot of kids, I know very talented kids who just didn't have the money or the resources to get into college, who would smoke certain kids, never got that opportunity. So I feel like it is rigged. It's not to do with intelligence. And if we don't want to make it rigged, free education, you know? It was just it was a simple statement.
Yeah, but you were selling shirts, you were selling merch, and you were donating proceeds from that to help
to the NIAC Center, most definitely.
Respect, man.
Appreciate you for
that.
Thank you.
Grimey Wealth is a hell of a title. I told you, I'm from a block called Gates Avenue. They call that Grimy Gates, and I understood with that, man. But what does Grimey Wealth mean?
Grimey Wealth, so it started from a conversation I was actually having with my bro Chris, who produced for the project. And he said, I forget how it came up, but he was talking about crime in New York City. And he said, where are the most criminals in New York City? And I said, the Upper East Side, because most people got away, you know, so they're staying on the Upper East Side. Who knows what kind of dirt that they did? So I came up with the title Grimey Wealth. And I have a friend who's from the opposite area of the Upper East Side who always likes to yell out 1090, 1090. And it means 10% loyal and 90% grimy. So I just had to combine the two together, you know, as a juxtaposition between the two worlds.
You said 10% loyal?
And 90% grimy.
Damn.
New York's different.
It is different. now, the title track is probably my favorite song on the album. You get very introspective at it towards the end.
Appreciate you.
Yo, and this probably be the first and only time I get to say this on camera. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I'm white, but sometimes I can't stand these fucking crackers. There's a whole lot of that going on. So with where do you come from and what makes you feel that way about these songs? Like, you being completely honest about it.
Nah, most definitely.
It comes with some privilege. I'm not changing it up, but there's some bullshit going on.
Nah, yeah, because a lot of people have an impression that I'd be ashamed, you know, especially in the world I'm in, ashamed of certain stuff. And I'm not ashamed of certain stuff. I hate certain people that tell me I should be ashamed of certain, and I don't hate anybody. I hate the fact that people tell me I should be ashamed of certain stuff, or even think that I am ashamed of certain stuff based on being born, you know, because we're all born. It's what you do with it that counts.
Now, let's talk about the single. Is this the lead single, Shabbat Shalom?
Shabbat Shalom.
2 words, peaceful rest. This is a greeting used in the honor of the Sabbath. But you told me you're not even Jewish, which is it.
Yeah.
All right, now, you got it on Grimey Wealth with Benny the Butcher. So what's the correlation between the phrase and the song, like the juxtaposition? I hear Butcher using certain terms of talking about praying religion, but why did you name the song Shabbat Shalom and then decide to put Benny the Butcher in it?
So Shabbat Shalom to me was a symbol of celebration because it means peaceful rest. One of my good mans is Jewish, and every Friday night he has a service called Shabbat. And it just, as a New Yorker, it was a meaning of celebration for me and what that represents, peaceful rest. So I just thought it sounded catchy on the track, and I know that New York would be behind that. So
for real. Now, did you go into this project with features in mind, or did any of them come organically?
So the Benny feature definitely came organically because the manager I'm working with right now has worked a lot with Benny. We've ran a lot in the same circles. I've been a huge fan of the Griselda movement and what he's done, especially bringing back that real sound but putting his own edge on it, you know? So it was never repeated. It was real hip hop, but something that's never been done before, you know?
Yeah.
And Uncle Murda has always been one of my favorite New York rappers since he came out with the Warning joint. I was hooked since then.
And these are stamps. It's not like they throwing you a verse and whatever. They give you solid work. So
most definitely.
And I feel it's always exciting when I see artists and they're collaborating with artists that they're inspired by. So I'm close to as Billy as I am to death. That's a bar right there. That's a bar right there. Shit, which one are you closer to?
I'm close to a Billy, I like to say. But there have been points in my life where I don't know, because I gotta weigh out both of my options. Like growing up, even on the Upper East Side, I was kicked out at a very early age. So I felt many times like I had been close to death or in survival mode. And I feel like I'm blessed to have been in the positions where I've been in survival mode, because it makes you grow as a man, you know?
You've been funding your music on your own. Been self-funded the whole time. You're doing it yourself. You got your team. So now that Grimey Wealth is out, what's next? Like, when we get some treatments, or are you going to do a lot of shows in New York City?
We about to do the merch drop in the beginning of next month. I'm about to get on some shows for the summer, and I'm dropping a joint in a video with 38 Special. Shout out my man Special.
Okay, look, man, you moving and grooving. So I wear size medium. Big Reg over here wears XL, man. We
Most
need
definitely.
that, man. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, you already know.
We need that. So I want to talk about something else, which is a love that you had. Herb is the healing of a nation, but alcohol is the destruction.
That's Bob Marley.
Yeah, I seen that on you.
Yeah.
Talking about, because you have a love for cannabis.
Nah, most definitely.
Right?
Nah, for me personally, I haven't been perfect growing up, you know, like I was around a lot of people who did a lot of stuff, but for me, I've stayed away from that for a while. And for me, cannabis has always been something that's beneficial and makes you feel good, in my opinion. A lot of people, I feel like the perception is going away now with cannabis, but a lot of people felt like it was worse than alcohol, like it's a drug and so. And I feel like those people don't smoke weed, because when you smoke weed, you know it's not bad for you. And I feel like weed has definitely helped me with my creative process. And it has definitely got me to a place where I feel like I'm better with it, to be real with you.
Well, you a smooth cat, man. I tell you, Grimey Wealth is very concise. I love the fact that, even on the sketch, you just talking crazy. You having fun on it, man. And you dropped a lot of music, but you can hear it. There's songs that I was checking out, buddy, like Pride. And I'm like, okay, this is when he's in his pocket for real.
Right.
Guardian Angel.
Facts.
So I'm excited that the project's out. I'm looking forward to supporting and seeing you out there on some shows. And before we get out of here, tell the listeners how they can get in contact with you.
You already know, Instagram at Infamous Billa, Twitter Most Hated Billa, because they wouldn't allow me to do Infamous Billa, and YouTube Infamous Billa, baby.
You heard it, man. Infamous Billa,
BillYouLater.com, merch dropping soon.
Yo, man, I wear medium, man. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Keep it pushing.
Yes, sir. Bill You Later.
That's my man. Yeah,
Pleasure.
appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.